We are going to be stripping down naked, completely in the buff.
You heard that right. July 14th is International Nude Day. And tonight, some are going to get into their birthday suits and explore how caverns.
I could see the smoke for miles, and I said, oh boy.
Because right now, probably half the city is out of power.
My house isn't even on fire anymore. My house is on the ground.
I know we'll overcome this. This is what we do in Cohoes. You may be able to knock us down, but we're not staying down. We're going to get up.
We do have team coverage this afternoon. Jackson Wang and Jacqueline Kangro are standing by. We're going to go first to the Port of Albany.
A year after he was arrested in Mexico, the Next Gym co-founder goes on trial. Keith Raniere is facing a number of charges, including sex trafficking and forced labor. Jacqueline Kangro has been following this case for us. She is outside federal court in Brooklyn.
All right, we're learning new information after a Gloversville police officer was hit by a pickup truck last night in the city. The disturbing incident all caught on body camera. You're looking at it right there on your screen. Jacqueline Kangro joining us now.
And as you just heard from meteorologist Mike Bono, it's been a big snow day for the capital region, and we have team coverage as the snow continues to fall. And we're going to start off with Jackson Wang, Matt Hunter, Camille DeLucas, and our Evan Seri, who have all been standing by.
Breaking this morning, all lanes are now back open on 787 following a really serious crash in Albany.
A person hit by a car last night right near exit 2. I want to show you a map of the area we're talking about, right by the historic Cherry Hill House.
Yeah, CBS 6's Carrie Beal is joining us there where the crash happened.
New developments in the controversy over EpiPen costs, what the medical company that sells the life-saving product is saying today. A change in tone, the issue that's become a big focus for both presidential candidates as they try to target voters.
District Attorney's Office.
Breaking news right now, the Albany Police Chief answering questions about that deadly nightclub shooting.
We're going to let you listen in.
Carrie, thanks. And that was the third serious car crash in our area just this week.
Across the nation today, thousands marching for their lives.
They're calling for tighter gun regulations in the wake of the Parkland, Florida shooting that left 17 dead.
Then on April 5th, just under 2 months after testing began, we asked again, and the DOH couldn't give us a specific date, but said it should be soon. A week later, now 2 months after testing began, a spokesperson told us it would take anywhere from 2 to 3 months from when they took those samples. Fast forward to just last week, exactly 3 months later, we asked again, and the DOH again said the results hadn't been sent out.
There are many more local races in our area, and we have our entire team covering it live tonight.
We're still working to learn more after Washington County crews were called to the area of Shelving Rock Falls in Fort Ann this afternoon. We're told that a person fell there, and as you can see on the map here behind me, this is right along Lake George, right near Log Bay.
I could see the smoke for miles, and I said, oh boy.
Because right now, probably half the city is out of power.
My house isn't even on fire anymore. My house is on the ground.
I know we'll overcome this. This is what we do in Cohoes. You may be able to knock us down, but we're not staying down. We're going to get up.
And to some of the sights and sounds from what has been a devastating afternoon and evening here in Cohoes. Thank you for joining us here on Spectrum News live at 7. I am Solomon Syed coming to you from Remsen Street in Cohoes, where you see behind me the embers still burning from this fire that touched off a little after 2 o'clock this afternoon in Cohoes. We are told roughly 20 buildings have been impacted by this, varying degrees of damage. Some of them completely wiped out, others not so badly damaged, others, though, basically unrecognizable. Cohoes Mayor Sean Morris telling me not long ago that he believes roughly 25 people have been directly impacted by this fire, but throughout the city, many more dealing with the effects, be it water damage from all the water being poured on these buildings, to smoke damage, to power outages. And just a short time ago, Mayor Morris declared a state of emergency in the city of Cohoes, releasing a statement to us saying that all residents are to avoid the downtown areas completely. Many areas, like I just said, will be without power and or water. There may also be parking restrictions. The mayor's saying that he apologizes for any inconvenience, but that the city is committed to the safety of its residents. He says that he and the rest of the city remains Cohoes proud for all the continued efforts from the emergency personnel, business owners, residents, and beyond. He says that we will overcome such devastation. But as he talks about the support and the need to overcome, we learned that multiple fire agencies descended on the scene this afternoon from as far as Saratoga north to as far as Albany South. State Fire also here as well, roughly 100 firefighters. And as you can see behind me, their job is not done quite yet. And as you heard at the top of the show, a lot of people suffering in a lot of different ways this evening, and certainly in the days to come. We spoke with one man who tells us he lost everything in this fire.
When I got here, I found out that firefighters had to go in and personally get my dog out and everything, but it was a tough scene to deal with, like, because if you look, oh, sorry, my house isn't even on fire anymore. My house is on the ground.
And his account, just one of the many here this evening as we approach the holidays. The timing of this fire couldn't be worse. Christmas right around the corner, New Year's to follow. And you never say there's a good time for a fire, but obviously this is about as bad as it gets. But when I spoke to Cohoes Mayor Sean Morris earlier, he said the city is determined to bounce back from this.
You really feel bad. I feel bad for the people. I feel bad for the residents. But, you know, I know we'll overcome this. This is what we do in Cohoes. You maybe had to knock us down, but we're not staying down. We're going to get up. We're going to rebuild. We're going to take care of those people who need Christmas. And, you know, we're going to work through this. And so right now it's a tough time. It's cold out. Everybody's wet and tired. But it's sad to the highest level.
Mayor Morris and the city's residents trying to remain resilient, but many people we spoke to today simply could not believe what they were seeing. We talked to one individual who described to us what he saw when the flames broke out.
And I saw the fire when it started. And the flames are 40 foot high off the top of the building. You already knew it was going to fall down.
And as we've been saying, this fire touching off a little after 2 o'clock, and here we are roughly 5 hours later, and there are still hot spots directly behind me, and still other buildings catching on fire as we speak. For more on that, I want to send it to Jackson Wang. He's been on the scene for us since this fire started. Jackson, what's the latest there?
Hey Solomon, we're about a block down from where you are on Remsen Street in front of 175 Remsen Street. That shows you how far this fire spread earlier this afternoon. And to talk more about what's happening here on scene, we're joined by City Council member Don Russell. Don, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us this evening. What's happening behind us here?
You know, the fire started earlier this afternoon about 2 o'clock across from my other business, Spindles on Remsen. Within a matter of 5 minutes, the fire had jumped from one building to the second and then to the third. Shortly later on, it had jumped down a block and started Smith's restaurant on fire. The crews here were cleaning up. They had Smith's well contained and out, and as crews were cleaning up, the building next door, which is Yan Sushi, the back of that, obviously there was a hot ember, and that ignited that building. So now we have two buildings on the second block that are sustained fire and water damage.
You had mentioned you own a business on this block here. Are you affected at all?
We're fortunate that, no, we were not affected, but it's just completely devastating to see so much devastation to so many buildings in literally a matter of hours' times.
Have you ever seen anything like this before in this city?
No, this is my first big fire in the city. We've seen fires here, older buildings, you know, when they catch on fire, it's hard to get them out. The devastating thing about today is the wind. The wind is what is not working with the firemen in their favor.
Obviously a very tough day for the residents here on this block. What's your message to them going through a difficult time right now?
You know, Cohoes proud, Cohoes strong. American Red Cross is here on site trying to work with people that have been displaced. National Grid is on site. We're trying to get power restored to over the 1,000 customers that are without power in the area. My guess is that National Grid will get power back on the most sometime later this evening. But, you know, it's definitely Cohoes proud. This is going to be one of those events that it's not going to take just this community, it's going to take the surrounding communities to help lift us up from this.
You mentioned to me earlier that you expect fundraisers in the future to help some of these victims directly impacted. So definitely a lot of effort and a lot of work still ahead for us, or for you folks here in this city. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us tonight. And again, we'll be here to continue coverage throughout the night, and these firefighters will be here for a very, very long time as they continue to clean up these scenes. Solomon? Okay, thanks to our Jackson Wang reporting for us there. And that is the theme tonight and the rallying cry, Cohoes proud. I want to bring in a man who knows that rally cry very well. Assemblyman John McDonald, who represents this area. Sir, you also own a business right up the road here. Just describe your feelings right now.
You know, it's amazing 5 hours later and we're still trying to put out the fires to start the process of cleaning up. And you know, I've seen a lot of fires in my lifetime, and I go back over 30 years. This is by far one of the worst I've ever seen, particularly because you're talking about something that is stretching 2 city blocks on both sides of the road. Residents are being displaced, businesses are being damaged to the point where I don't know if they're going to be able to ever come back to business. So it's really devastating. It's amazing the support we're seeing. I just was on the phone with the governor's office. They're actually extending their support as well, as you would expect. And you know, we want to get the fire out, and I've already been talking to the mayor, and we're going to obviously work closely to make sure that we take this unfortunate situation and try to find something good out of it.
I know as a representative for this area, you don't want to make this about yourself. You're worried about your constituents, but you suffered some loss here tonight, a garage of yours destroyed.
Yeah, we lost, you know, probably $10,000, $20,000 worth of inventory. You know, at the end of the day, that kind of stuff those are tangible things. It's the people who are going to be displaced, particularly during the holidays, that I feel for. I feel bad for the people who are working. People working in their jobs that are probably not going to be open during this holiday period. And we've got to find the resources and the programs to help support these individuals. Obviously, we want these business owners to rebuild, to restore their buildings. We want to bring their employees back, but we also want to make sure we find safe homes for these residents that are displaced this evening.
Yeah, on Remsen Street here, a lot of businesses, one of your businesses as well, Mara's Pharmacy. Right now, your building, though, it looks okay for the time being.
We're okay. We've got some cleanup work to do. We'll be open tomorrow morning. You know, at the end of the day, it's about helping the others right now at this stage of the game. And, you know, we're going to try to bring all the resources possible from the state level right down to the local level to help.
Assemblyman, we've been talking throughout the evening about how this compares to another fire that happened almost 30 years ago, 1988. Your business was destroyed in that fire. Do you see a lot of parallels, some eerie similarities?
It's very eerie. The wind conditions are almost exactly the same. That was in May, this is November, but the reality is this is what makes it hard for these fire departments to really attack this fire. And, you know, it's been crazy. Mayor Morris and I have been running back and forth between one end of the block to the other. You would think that the city was under attack. I can't describe it any better way, but at the end of the day, you know what? Tomorrow morning's a new day. We pick up, we start all over, and we move the city forward.
What do you want to say to the residents who might be watching tonight or might have friends who are watching who are going to get a message to them?
You know, the amount of texts and emails and calls that I've received, and I know the mayor's received a lot, we appreciate the support. They know that Cohoes is a tough little community that's always a city that could. We keep building ourselves back up. Yeah, we're set back today, but tomorrow's another day. We're going to keep rebuilding for tomorrow. And you know what? I think a year from now, we're going to look back and say, you know what? They did it again. They came back from adversity. Because this is not our first rodeo.
The silver lining here too, no injuries. That's the great news.
You know what? I don't think many firefighters, if any, were injured. There's been no loss of life, no loss of pets, because that's always another concern on people's minds during these times. So, you know, whatever the reason why this fire happened, it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we're here, we're working at it. The fire departments throughout the capital region, you know, the mayor talks about Cohoes being proud, the capital region should be proud. I have never seen so many professional and volunteers working so effortlessly together. It really is heartwarming, and as I often say, this is when humanity has the opportunity to shine, and I think it's going to shine very bright on Cohoes.
Well, best of luck to you. The constituents here will let you get back to tending to your constituents. We thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman McDonald. All right, keep it tuned right here at Spectrum News, live at 7. Much more to come from this still active scene on Remsen Street in Cohoes. The fire still burning, other buildings being consumed with flames as we speak. We're going to have more on that fire from 1988 coming up with our Terry Stackhouse after the break, plus another update on where residents can go if they need shelter tonight. The Red Cross on the scene here, willing to help anyone who needs it. Keep it tuned right here to Spectrum News, live at 7.
I was also knocking on doors, making sure people were not in their houses. Doors were open. I was going in, yelling, fire, 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 get out.